somebody talked about, I think it was Abhinav who talked about bank rates trigger a ripple in the economy.
Fluctuation.
Yeah, ripple is a fluctuation. So could you just highlight on that a little more?
So whenever the bank rate changes, the ability of the general public to, acquire more loans from the commercial banks decreases because the rate is very high and there is the general public, the capacity of the general public is not that high. For example, the bank rate from 6.75% increases to 10%. So per month, whatever the interest is charged by the commercial banks will raise from 6.75 to 10%. So obviously, which will lead to reduction in the monetary capacity of the general public, which will obviously decrease the capacity of the public to buy more products. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. The second question that we spoke about was a repo rate that you told me. Could you just give me a few more advantages of the repo rate, please?
So repo rate is basically the interest which is charged by the Reserve Bank of India for the loans provided by them to the commercial banks. Yeah. So why these commercial banks take these loans? Because there is a shortage of funds with the commercial banks. So when there is a shortage of fund, the RBI comes into the picture and they provide loans to these commercial banks. Which help these commercial banks to carry out more, so they can provide more loans to the general public, which will obviously increase the capacity of the commercial banks and also of the general public. And second is that the Reserve Bank of India is set up not to regulate but to facilitate the Indian economy. So yeah, to facilitate the Indian economy, they provide loans to the commercial banks for the betterment of the economy and not for earning any profit.
One of you spoke about NABARD. Go ahead with it, please. NABARD. Go ahead.
Yeah, so NABARD is a financial institution which was started by RBI. Yeah, so it helps in providing loans to the small-scale industries, and also it improves the industrial sector of our economy. So like people who are poor, they can also start the industries by taking loans from the NABARD, which gives loans at a very low rate of interest.
Is it basically for the small-scale industries that the NABARD extends loan, or is it for the large-scale industries as well?
NABARD is only for small-scale industries. For large-scale industries, there are banks, for example, like IDBI, the Reserve Bank of India. So that bank provides loans to these banks, the large-scale industries, and NABARD provides loans to the small-scale industries.
What are scheduled banks?
Scheduled banks are somewhat like commercial banks. Scheduled banks, for example, scheduled bank is State Bank of Baroda. And
what's a non-scheduled bank?
So scheduled bank is bank which is limited to a particular state and obviously provides more facilities to the state which it belongs to as compared to non-scheduled banks, which is generally nationwide. Like non-scheduled are ICICI, HDFC.
So basically, can we say that a government established bank and a non-government established bank, a private bank and a government?
I can't say.
A government bank and a private bank? SBI.
Yes,
scheduled or non-scheduled?
It's a non-scheduled bank.
Okay. That's your question.
Because I think a very informative presentation. We should have a knowledge of the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, somewhere we say no, then we have why there is
shortage of currency. See, why the Reserve Bank of India is not supplying as much as the public want? Always there is the demand and the supply. Isn't it? Why can't they supply how much ever currency the country wants? But they have one important thing to decide. On what basis the currency is being issued by the Reserve Bank of India?
Ma'am, is your question that on what basis the currency is issued? So,
How they decide how much currency to be issued?
why?
How they decide how much currency to be issued? On what on what basis?
Yeah, they decide on the basis of the buying capacity. So, if there's inflation going on, inflation, for example, in India, current inflation rate is, I guess, 4%, 4 to 3%. So, if there's inflation going on, so the liquidation rate or the currency production rate will decrease, which will decrease the capacity of the general public to buy more products. So, this will decrease the demand for the product, obviously, which will tend to less capacity.
See, suppose if
I
I
think the production of the currency depends on the place of the demand and supply in the market.
demand and supply in the market. Demand and supply. It's not. See, other products is fine. According to the demand, molecule supply. But as far as currency is concerned, they take into consideration so many factors. Because excess currency when it comes to the country, and when more currency comes to the country, automatically inflation will be more. Inflation will be more. So people, it is not. And moreover, how much ever currency they issue, see, they simply print the currency and give. What they do before that? Someone explain it. What is being done? You couldn't hear? See, before, suppose if they are issuing currency notes for 100 crore rupees. See, what do the RBI do before that? Are they just going to print the currency and issue it? Someone gave it, because that PPT I saw. Suppose if you are issuing currency, if some Reserve Bank of India issuing currency, what do they do? On the value of the currency, what do they do?
Ma'am wants to ask you,
On what basis the currency is being issued?
suppose I want to print 50, 100 rupee notes. How do I decide that I print 50, 100 rupee notes and not 100 rupee notes? How do I decide?
One second.
Ma'am, actually, it depends on the flow of currency in the population. So if like there's a low level of flow of currency of one particular type, like 50 rupees or 100 rupees, if 100 rupees is less, then the RBI notices that and they try to make more 100 rupees notes.
No, it's not about the denomination that we are talking about. It's not about printing 100 rupees. I'm not talking about the denomination. Suppose we want 1 crore. Okay, how is it decided that the RBI prints required amount of money? Excess of money printing will lead to deflation. The value of the currency comes down. Yes? So how do we decide to maintain the value of the currency?
It depends on how much the population is buying and selling their stuff. It depends on.
It doesn't depend upon the purchasing power of the consumer. It doesn't depend upon that. It doesn't depend upon the purchasing power.
Now, I guess the printing also depends on the economic factors like the foreign exchange rate, the trade happening between other countries, and obviously inflation also, because inflation, if there's more money in the market, the prices, if the inflation is there, so the government will decrease the production of the money. If there's deflation, the government
Can I just cut you short? One of the slides dealt with gold reserves. Gold reserves to be maintained by a country. So the way the currency, the amount of currency that needs to be printed in a country is dependent directly on the gold reserves that they maintain in the country. Okay?
And can I ask you one question? Say suppose you are into an imagine that you are into an export and import business, right? Now either the payment should be in the form of a foreign currency or this will be in the form of a foreign currency. Suppose if you are exporting your goods to US, so you'll be receiving your revenue in the form of dollars only. Okay. Here we all know that Reserve Bank of India plays an important role. Can you directly connect with yourself with the Reserve Bank of India? How it's being done? Because foreign exchange, just like that, you cannot go and get the foreign exchange because you're doing a huge business. So long as the foreign exchange comes to your country. So how you deal with it? Who plays an entity as an intermediary? See, you have done import-export business, you know. Import procedure, export procedure. All the procedures, you know. You have just finished your examination, you know. Just think of it if you have an answer.
Can you repeat?
Change the mind, please. Yes, take a revision.
Can you repeat the question?
See, just imagine yourself. Imagine yourself. You are into an export business. You are into textile business, and you are exporting your goods to United States of America. So in export, you will be getting the sale proceeds, right? So it will come in the form of dollars. So it's a foreign exchange. So you cannot get it in cash, they will pay it in dollars only. Now, when a huge amount of money comes to the country, you cannot make them to credit or your account as it is. But because when the foreign currency comes to the country, the Reserve Bank of India should have the knowledge of it. So in order to have that transaction, who plays an in between Reserve Bank of India and you, who plays a role? Or facilitator?
Exchange banks.
Exchange banks or the bank to whom you have connected with. Isn't it? Is a for sure. Now, you are?
Excuse me.
See, when we export goods, foreign currency flows into our country. When we import goods, foreign currency, the Indian currency goes over there. So, there should be, when more revenues are coming into the country, that's good for the country. Isn't it? And see, because you are receiving more than what you pay. Suppose 100 crore you are receiving, and you are paying only 80 crore. So 20 crore is still in your hand. Isn't it? What is it? In economic term, what do you call this? The amount you pay and the amount you receive. And what does it call? What particular term is it? It should be favorable